So, bruh, I'm like, ain't no way. I'm appalled. So he like, come on, bro, you know they finna lock down in a minute. I was like, folks, this letter, I really didn't even want to tell him, bro, because the look in his eyes, I ain't gonna cap, bro. He just was, like, when he first ran up there with the letter, he started smiling, but you could tell, like, when a dude trying to keep a serious face, but he go to grinning and smiling, bro. And it's just like, you could see the excitement in the man's face. And when he talk about the girl Asia, his voice gets softer, like he seemed vulnerable, you know what I'm saying? So I know he was extremely excited. Read his letter from her, but I mean, there was no way possible I could keep that ball rolling. I wouldn't even play with nobody like that, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's a certain something that Bell told him before the letter said. So then when I read it, he be like, damn, it ain't say nothing about. So I was like, I'm not even gonna play that. I didn't want to tell him, because they in the same dorm. I don't want you to go do nothing to Bell. But I mean, at this point, nothing I could do. I said, look, hey, he said, yeah. He looked up at me, looked back down. I said, folks, this letter is from the Church of Christ. That's like the pastor people that be coming here on Wednesdays and Saturdays. They send everybody this. I reach in my box and one of my envelopes, I pulled one out. I said, look, bro, I got this same letter. They send everybody these for their birthday. He said, you sure that ain't from Asia? Asia, whatever her name was. I said, no, bro, this is from a church. I said, this thing says, dear such and such. You know, I just read what the little thing said real quick in all the Bible verses. He said, man, hold on, hell no, because I got a few letters from Asia for real. Hold on, I'm going to be right back. So I'm like, all right, bet. So he take off running out the room. I step out there to the rail. I just look over. Bell was walking in his room. I just looked at him and shook my head. I was like, ain't no damn way. But then again, if little A did kind of intimidate him a little bit and they locked in the room together for months, bro, probably was just saying whatever, like, you know, but shit, Bell bigger. But he come running up there with an envelope. You can tell it's kind of thick. It's like this. He was like, what about these? What about these? And, bro, I pulled out every single one. Every single one of them said, House of Christ, House of Christ, House of Christ. Every letter this man had was from a church, bro. And I done already pretty much seen it, but I'm just going through them slow, looking at it. Then I really was waiting on the officer. Then she came in and screamed lockdown. I'm like, bro, just bring it back tomorrow. I'll look at it tomorrow. Go ahead. So he left out, bro. I damn near couldn't even barely sleep that night, bro. I just was like, damn, that's kind of messed up. You feel me? Then I felt feeling to help him. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to help him out. Next day, bro, early morning. At least he had enough respect not to come knocking on the door that early. But after I brush my teeth, wash my face, as soon as I step out the room, I see him down there by the steps looking. See me? So I pointed to the TV room because that's where I was finna go anyway. But my roommate was still laying down. We go in the TV room. He got that same envelope with him. I go through every single one of them. I said, hold on, G. I'm about to go grab us a Chris Brown CD. Hold on, I'm going to be right back. I give it back to him. I go roll up a fat Chris Brown CD, pop the socket, get a wick, go back down there, light it up. I hit it like twice, then I gave it to him. He was like, what you just like feel uncomfortable reading stuff from people's family or something? He was like, I don't think nothing weird, like, you know, because sometimes people won't read your mail or nothing because they feel like, I'm not about to read nothing your family sent me. That's going to make it look, it's going to make me feel weird, and then I don't want you ever thinking weird, like I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I said, listen, little bro. I said, I don't know, you know, maybe the letter he was reading to you, maybe it got mixed up or maybe you lost it or something. He's like, no, these are the letters. I had them. I'm telling you, these are the exact letters. These are the same envelopes and everything. I said, bro, none of these letters you have is from nobody named Asia. Every single letter you have right now is from a church called House of Christ. They either sending you birthday cards or they just sending you like updates, just checking on you, telling you keep your head up, make sure you keep your head, you know, with Christ, stuff like that. I said, bro, ain't nothing that you have right now have nothing to do with nothing, no letter from nobody. So he was like, bro, you lying. I was like, I'm serious. So he go to pulling them out, looking at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could read it or whatever. Then he go to pulling out the next one. He was like, bro, I'm going to kill that nigga Bell, bro. I said, nah, bro, listen, folks. I say, look, hey, listen to me, G. That's not the way you deal with and respond to these type of situations, my boy. He was like, so how you deal with it then? How you deal with it? Then he hit the Chris Brown CD again, so I pushed the door up in the TV room just so You know, it ain't just loud, because he was talking kind of loud. I say, look, hey, the way you deal with these type of situations, my brother, you get it together, bro. I say, like, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. I'm just keeping it 100. Why don't you know how to read, folks? He just told me he got locked up when he was 12. Now he's like 22, 23. He been in prison. He been fighting, getting in trouble. He like, bro, I don't read no books. When I came to prison, all that school stuff was over with. They be making me go to GED, but I don't be paying none of that stuff no attention. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I was like, bro, get it together, folks. Start going to your classes. Go up there and be honest with the instructor. Tell her what you just told me. They probably pull you out of GED and put you in a different type of reading, because they had like it's called AEB or A something B. It was like reading for people, you know what I'm saying, who struggle with words and reading and stuff. And I was like, bro, even in the dorm, I'll help you, my boy. While I was talking to him, that nigga dropped his head, bust out crying. I just felt bad, bro. I talked him out of doing anything to the dude bail, you know. So he agreed that he gonna start coming to the room, but he was just saying, like, I don't want nobody to know what's going on, not even your roommate, no nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, that's a fact. I just started practicing with him the simplest stuff in the world, bro. The simplest stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, I real life asked this dude to spell the word the. T-H-E, the. He couldn't do it. I asked him to spell cat, box, shoe. So, an offer I made him. I said, this is what we'll do. Because he do be having quite a few situations where he missed or his family can't, you know, send him no money and nothing. So the agreement I made with Lil A is this. I'm willing to feed you every day. You can have whatever you want on my box, if you're willing to take this serious and start learning how to read. And then that'll let me know, you know, whether it was dyslexia or not, you know, based off if he can even put words together. But after we did a little something, I knew it wasn't that. It just was some other whatever. But he agreed to it. But he did good for about 2 days. Same situation happened with the GED. Lee! Keep calling it nine. Next thing you know, I hear the door slam. By the time I get up and go out there, about an hour later, he coming out walking with a cup going to get some Kool-Aid. Nigga done made about 2-3 meals out my box so far now. So it kind of pissed me off. I see him on my AG. He like, what's up? I said, why the hell you didn't go to class today? He was like, man. I said, did you tell them about the GED? He said, yeah, they put me in the regular reading class. I said, so why you ain't go? He was like, man, I ain't gonna cap, bro. I was kind of tired, bro. I ain't feel like getting up. I said, so you ain't taking that shit serious, huh? He was like, come on, bro. Don't do me like that. I'm like, all right. Go back up to my room. 20 minutes later, go by. He come up there. He told me to smoke a Chris Brown CD with him. I told him spell Chris Brown CD, or I spell it out for you and you sit here and practice it and learn the letters and woo-de-woo-de-woo. So he like, man, come on, C-Bill, bro. Come on, man. We just did this shit for 2 days straight. I said, and you 23, you down there 25-year-old man, folks. And I mean, you struggle with the simplest thing. I said, spell the. I just hit him back with what we did before. He was like, T-H-E, bro. I was like, spell cat, C-A-T. Spell box, B-O-X. So he learned that in the past few days, you know what I'm saying? But that shit was still sad, though. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I just roll up a Chris Brown CD. I see him looking in my box. I ain't saying nothing because I'm already knowing what I'm about to tell him when he asks me. So we smoked the Chris Brown CD. So he like, shit, what we doing today? We gonna do a little something today? I was like, yeah, if you ain't bullshitting. He was like, no, I'm gonna do it, bro. I said, bro, you missing that class? I ain't gonna lie, I'm not feeling that, bro. Like, I think we about to add some type of restriction on what we got going on, because I want to help you, but I hate trying to help an adult that don't want to help themselves, bro. So he was like, all right, bro, for sure, we gonna do it. I ain't gonna miss no more classes. I'm like, all right. So he stand up, stretch out. I'm already knowing what he was about to say. He said, man, with me on some of them cheese puffs. I said, you can have whatever you want out that box if you can spell it. I said, if you can't spell it, you can't eat it. So he looked at me, he was like, man, come on. I said, you can have whatever you want to have out that box, but you have to know how to spell it. If you can't spell it, you can't eat it. Bet not touch it. So he told me, so man, the only thing I know how to spell out of this box, probably like a soup or something. I said, you want a soup? He said, hell yeah. I said, get one. So he go to reach it. I said, hold on, you got to spell it. He turned back to me with a dead serious face and was like, S-U-P-P? And I was looking at him, waiting on him to bust out laughing or something. He wasn't. He was dead serious. I said, no, bro. No. So I wrote the word soup down on a piece of paper. He sat down next to me, and I helped him, like, sound it out, understand how to sound it out. Then I just used to talk to him a lot throughout the days. Like, bro, listen, You got to, bro, I don't give a damn what other subject you're trash at. Reading is something very vital that you're always gonna need to know, bro. Reading, because, bro, that's something that even if you bad at math, you still need to know how to read what that check say before you even see the amount of the check. You gonna need, if you don't know nothing about social studies, science, even in those subjects, it's reading. Like, you have to read everything. Everything is reading. You know what I'm saying? So I used to drill it in his head how important reading is. And he started getting a little tad bit better. I used to tell him every single time. I remember he ran up there. He was so excited. It was Stow Day. His mama didn't put the money on his books, but he still had like $12 from the previous week. So him and some more folks had something going on. They was about to cook this big meal. And I kind of felt bad because they was talking about it for some days, and I knew how excited they was. But I had to stand on business. And he ran up there. He was like, CBL. I'm like, what's up, bro? He was like, man, my sausage ain't come. I thought I had more money on my books and I don't. He was like, please, bro, with me on the summer sausage, bro. Please, I'll give you back 2 next week, 3 next week. I don't even care, bro. I say, shit, you can have one right now. You ain't got to give me nothing back next week, but you got to know how to spell it. If you can't spell it, you can't eat it, bro. And I'm serious about that. So he tried to spell summer sausage, messed up terribly, and I told him no. Well, I told him he could sit down and we could learn it and we could sound it out and I can explain it all to him no matter how long it take. But he talking about they trying to cook. He didn't feel like doing all that. So I said, no, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de the fuck do. No, you cannot have that. And he left out my room. Everything was smooth. He started going to his classes, but he started getting better over time. I promise you, like over a few weeks, what we was doing, he started getting better, like understanding things a lot better. He started getting better with the classes. But he came back one time and damn near read like a whole sentence. And it wasn't no little baby ass words. Some of them was, but it was some good words that a person that 3 weeks ago just couldn't spell the is reading this now. I mean, that's some real dedication, you know what I'm saying? I was really proud of the young man. One day out the blue, I hear, shit, hold on, look, hey, So, you know, everybody busts up, running out the room. What the fuck going on? Lil A is chasing Belle out the room with the candy bar. Belle bleeding off from the head. The girl was already on point because it's so early. If you screaming early in the morning, you could hear you a mile away because it's so quiet, you know what I'm saying? Everybody jump up on point. He chasing them to the door, walking them down, stabbing them. So she called the code or whatever. Lil A turn around, run straight back to bedroom. I'm like, Lil A. So he look up at me. I was like, folks, you was just doing good, bro. What the hell you got going on, G? Belle at the door, bleed and scream in the salad pot waiting to go out. Lil A run in bedroom, come running back out with a manila envelope. He throw it up there to me. I catch it. He busts out crying. Look at that shit, bro. Aisha did write me, bro. He been writing her back the whole time, bro. He done took Aisha, bro. He said, bro, you know I've been learning. And, bro, I saw the name last night, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping. And I seen it. I just had to think on it to make sure I wasn't tripping. Bro, I opened the manila envelope, bro. It was a stack of letters like this. Like 3 of them had Lil A real name on it. All the rest of them had Belle real name on it. So Belle done backdoored the man, started writing the girl, I guess probably down talking Lil A or whatever, and she started talking to him, writing him letters. So I threw him the manila envelope back down there. Police came. I go in my room. They came in screaming. Lil A got down on the ground, put his hands up. They pulled Belle out, threw him on a medical cart, came, got Lil A, handcuffed him, went out there, told a few people to clean up that blood. They didn't even lock us down, bro. I don't know what the hell. I mean, they came in and said, y'all locked down, get behind the door. But I guess the officer had already told them it was just literally one-on-one. Nobody was involved. I hadn't heard from Lil A or nothing. I heard they had put him on the tier. I tried to write him a couple times, but wasn't getting no response. And then I asked the orderly about him because I was going to send him some books. The orderly that worked on the hole and the tier was playing stupid like they didn't know who I was talking about. I probably transferred like a year and a half later. I'm at a whole nother camp. Now, they didn't give me my clothing bag that they were supposed to give you when you first come in with all your new clothes, your sheets, your blanket. So they said they're going to let me come out the next day and go to the laundry with my call out, and he'll give me a whole fresh clothing basket. So when I'm coming through, it's a class going on right here. It's a GED class. So I'm walking past and I look, I double take. I'm like, what the hell? I stop And I'm looking. Now, in the education, any type of education, whether it's GED, I think they might got a high school diploma, Penn Foster or something that they starting to do in the prison. I don't know. I think they do. Basic reading, level 2 reading, all that. All them classes they got orderlies. And, you know, you got some just help keep the classroom clean. You got some that's very smart and they teach the class or whatever the case. Bro, I'm looking at a dude that looks identical to Lil A, but he got glasses on. He got a low, nice haircut, clothes look real nice. And I'm looking, and then he talking. He's standing in front of the class. He talking, and he looked at me, and then he double take too. And then he did like this, and he went walking this way, rushing. He got this thick-ass book in his hand. So the officer was basically like, hey, what you doing? The teacher was like, hey, what you doing? And he did like this. He came to the door, and, bro, he pulled the door up. He said, see, Bill? I say, look, hey. Man, that nigga hugged me, bro. He hugged me. He was just like, bro. Like, you could tell he was holding back tears, bro. And he let me go. He was like, bro, I went to the tier for wetting up bail, bro. He was like, bro, I wasn't doing nothing but reading. I finally wrote Aisha back, bro. She back fucking with me. She apologized. She said, yeah, buddy was saying all this and this and that. He was like, bro, I done got so good with this reading, bro. He said, I did nothing but read, bro. I wouldn't even eat a tray. I discipline myself, bro. If I can't spell it, I can't eat it, bro. Whatever they put us on the tray, man, until I mastered it, I wouldn't even eat it, bro. I went hungry on the tier sometimes, bro. So the teacher was like, hey, now, come on now, Lee. Don't get in trouble now. He said, okay, Miss Such. He said, hold on. And then he said, Bill, huh? It was a thick-ass GED, but he said, flip to a random page. I don't care which one it is. So I flipped to a random page, bro. He went straight to it, started reading it, all the big words. I'm talking about reading through it fast. Bro, I was so proud of that young man, bro. I was like, you done calm down, though, man. That's you got your glasses on looking kind of smart. He said, yeah, I done calm down. Then the teacher was like, Lee. And he was like, okay, I'm sorry. He was like, hey, CB, I love you, bro. Thank you. I just want to tell you thank you, bro. And he shot back in there and went finished teaching the class. And I went and got my clothes and went back to the dorm. I just thought about that boy, man. Old Lil A, man. Athens, Georgia, classic city. I might try to find that boy. Hey, man, but listen, you know, so it ain't always well, somebody did get pulled out, but I'm just saying, it's been some moments that I've been proud of, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, bro, prison is a terrible place. And I mean, imagine if you went to prison at 12 or 13 and now you 20, 30, 40. Shit, it's a possibility your ass about can't read neither, you know what I'm saying? So just try to do the right thing. It's your boy Bill. I'm gone.